Okay, so today we're going on a deep dive into a real mystery, the Copper Scroll.
Yeah.
And we always talk about these ancient texts and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, but this one is really, really unique
Absolutely.
because, like, imagine you're an archaeologist.
Right.
You're digging in the caves by the Dead Sea
Yeah.
back in 1952, and you're finding all these scrolls,
Right.
right? And they're all this really, really fragile parchment.
Of course.
And then all of a sudden, boom,
Wow.
you find a scroll made of copper.
It's unexpected, to say the least.
Yeah, it's just like,
What? It's totally different.
is this?
Yeah.
Right? It's just like, whoa, hold on a
Like,
second.
what is this? And then you start to look at it closer.
Right, and it's not just the material that's different.
No, the content is where it gets really interesting.
So what's on this copper scroll that's so different?
Well, unlike the other Dead Sea Scrolls we've talked about, which are mainly religious texts and writings,
Right.
this one seems to be something like a treasure map.
A treasure map.
Yeah, it's a list of 64 different locations
Wow.
with like really specific descriptions
Okay.
of where huge amounts of gold and silver are supposedly buried.
Okay, now hold on a second.
Yeah,
So we've got a real-life treasure map.
right.
That's like 2,000 years old.
Almost.
That's
David.
crazy.
I know.
This is like something straight out of like an Indiana Jones movie or something.
Absolutely.
But how much of the landscape would even be the same?
That's the
I mean,
thing.
how could you possibly even use this map today?
Yeah, that's one of the biggest challenges with the Copper Scroll.
Right.
You think about it, 1900 years.
Yeah.
The landscape's totally different.
Completely different.
The landmarks mentioned on the scroll could be long gone,
Yeah.
buried under centuries of, dirt and debris.
Or development.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it makes you wonder, has anyone ever actually tried to follow these instructions
Yeah.
and actually find this treasure?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
I mean, I can only imagine the thrill
Yeah,
of like finding one of these hidden caches of treasure.
absolutely.
But on the flip side of that, like, wouldn't that also be incredibly risky?
Potentially very risky.
What if you stumbled upon something
Right.
that was meant to stay hidden?
Yeah, you don't want to mess with ancient purses or anything like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's just,
Yeah,
this whole thing is just so fascinating.
it really is.
I have to admit, though, all this talk about like treasure and stuff,
Yeah.
it's kind of distracting me from something that's even more interesting to me.
Oh, okay. What's that?
I mean, what does this scroll tell us about the people who made it?
Ah, that's a great question.
Right. I mean, they went through a lot of trouble to make this scroll out of copper.
Yeah, it wasn't easy.
It must have been like super important to them.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
And you have to remember the historical context here.
Okay.
This was a really turbulent time in Judea. The Roman Empire had a really strong grip on the region.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of Jewish resistance brewing.
Right.
And so some scholars think that these treasures, if they were real,
Yeah.
might have been community funds or even religious artifacts
Oh, wow.
that they hid
Yeah.
to protect them from the Romans from being seized.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
So it wouldn't just be about like preserving their wealth.
right, yeah.
It would be about safeguarding their entire heritage,
Absolutely.
their culture.
Their identity.
Yeah, in the face of this oppression.
Exactly.
But couldn't creating this elaborate map have also like created a whole new set of risks?
You're absolutely right.
I mean, what if it fell into the wrong hands?
That's the double-edged sword of it all.
Right.
The very act of documenting these treasures and hiding them like this
Yeah.
meant that there was always a chance someone else could find them.
Right.
People who might exploit them.
Yeah, and that really highlights just how desperate their situation was.
Absolutely. It shows the complexity of the choices they had to make.
Wow.
But even if we never know for sure if this treasure was real or if it was ever found,
Yeah.
the Copper Scroll is still a priceless piece of history.
Absolutely.
It gives us this incredibly unique glimpse
Yeah.
into the lives of these people living under Roman rule.
Mm.
Their anxieties,
Right.
their
Okay.
hopes,
Yeah.
their strategies for resistance.
It's just amazing.
Really is.
So after taking this deep dive into the Copper Scroll mystery, I mean, we're left with more questions than answers.
Yeah, it always seems to be that way.
Like, were the treasures even real?
A good question.
Were they ever found?
Yeah.
And what was the real reason they were hidden in the first place?
Who knows?
It's really something to think about.
It is.
And it makes you wonder, if you had the opportunity to search for one of these hidden treasures,
Oh, yeah.
would you?
Hmm.
What would motivate you?
Yeah.
Would it be like the thrill of the hunt?
Yeah.
The historical value?
Right.
or the potential riches?
It's a tough one.
It is a tough one.
Yeah.
And if you did find something, what would you do with it?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's a lot to ponder.
Yeah. Lots to think about.
Let us know what you think.
We'd love to hear your thoughts
Yeah,
on this ancient mystery.
absolutely.
The Copper Scroll.
Thanks for joining us.
And happy treasure hunting.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
Bye, see you next time.
See you later.